Today, we're in my kitchen. Not a place I usually hang out. I'm not the cook in the house, but I'm going to show you how to make a simple cheese. It's called Chevre. I'm making it with raw goat's milk from my goats. Let's get started. This is the night before on cheese making. So I'm going to use my favorite little funnel and screen. This is a screen that it was designed to take the particles out of wine. It's an aerator, so I cut the bottom off so it's a funnel. And I'm going to pour my milk straight through and measure it so I know how much milk I'm using. Maybe I should turn the light on. Would that help? So there's a half gallon. Oops. This pan holds 4 quarts, which is a gallon. Sure doesn't look like it to me. Well, this is not milk I need to heat up. I just left the milking barn with this. So at this point, it's actually too warm to make cheese with. And the babies were fed and left me exactly a gallon. Isn't that nice of them? Here's my trusty thermometer, and it says it's 85 degrees. I need to let this cool for a few minutes, so I'm going to go back out to the barn, rinse out my milking machine. All right, I'm back from cleaning my milking system, and the milk has been sitting here. And I think I read the temperature wrong before I left to go out to milk, because right now it's at 80 degrees, and it usually comes out of the girls at about 94 to 96. It's perfect right now to put the mesophilic culture in it. I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon. This bag is almost done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle it on the top surface of the milk. I think I have enough. I have another bag. I just have to open it. Now I'm going to let it sit here for about 10 minutes and hydrate. Be right back. All right, there goes the timer. We're done. And now it's time to do the rennet. I have a glass here with about 3 tablespoons of filtered water in it. I do 3-4 drops. I'm just under a gallon. I usually do 4 drops for a gallon. Now I have sanitized everything, of course. I'm going to, now that the culture is floating on the top of this and has rehydrated, this pan is really too small for this, so I'm going to be very careful. Not slosh it around. I'm going to go up and down and make sure it's all incorporated. Then I'm going to take this rennet water, which I stir up a little, and pour it all through. And for 1 minute, I'm going to go up and down, just making sure I incorporate this rennet water into the cheese. Okay, that's 1 minute. This now is going to sit all night. It's about 80 degrees still. It's not cooling very quickly. I happen to have a commercial Wolf range which has real pilot lights, so I like to sit it right there all night, and it keeps it a little bit warm. And tomorrow we'll catch up to you and let you know how it's going. So we're back. Now the cheese is sat for 18 hours. You can go 12 to 18. We went 18. Now you can see that the whey has separated from the curd. I can't emphasize enough how much sanitation is important. I sanitize everything. This is a no rinse sanitizer. There'll be a video about that. So I'm going to drain this whey off. I like to get my cloth wet first. It's just easier to work with. This is actually a tea cloth or a flour sack. I like this better than cheesecloth. It's much more usable, reusable. Cheesecloth has a tendency to get all matted up, and when you try to pull it back apart, it's such a loose weave that you just have a mess. So this is really nice. I love these cloths. I buy them by the dozen. They last for years and years. I can actually show you a new one, how white it is. This one really has started to get yellow. Okay, so here we go. This is very full. I do not recommend doing a pan this full. And the curd actually stays down the bottom. And this is just simply pouring it off. I have the cheesecloth on there just in case anything separates and falls apart. This time it didn't. So now I'm going to move it to the other bowl because I can't work with the cheese with this full bowl. This is going for the dogs, and they love it. So this is what's left in the pan. You can tell there's still some whey in there. This was a gallon of milk. Now I'm going to put this into the cheesecloth. And we're going to get all the whey out. I'm going to gather up the cheesecloth. And I have a string I reuse it all the time to hang my cheese with. This is my favorite hanging spot. It doesn't take long for it to hang and drip. The longer it hangs, the harder the cheese will be. So you can leave that for as long as you like. You can tell this one's really, I drained off enough that it's really not dripping a lot more unless I squeeze it. Now this is the bowl we're going to mix it in. We're going to add salt first. We need to break this up. It's a gallon of milk, so a good teaspoon of salt. Just want to get it well incorporated. Now, after that's all done, we're going to set that aside. We're going to get some herbs. Doing cheese this way, you can separate it into small batches and make many different flavored cheeses. I have mint, rosemary, garlic chive. What else did I have in here? Oh, lavender. Wonderful, beautiful lavender. So I think we'll just take this and make it into 3 small batches. I'll get 3 bowls. Now I just divided into 3 equal parts. I'm going to chop up some chives. I think rosemary and lavender, of course. Wow, do you see all the bees? These are my beautiful girls getting pollen from my rosemary. I usually try to cut from my rosemary in such a way that it's like pruning, so I get 2 things done at once. This is one of many of my rosemary bushes. This is my herb circle, and it's set up with different herbs all the way around. These are the molds, and these are the cloths. First thing I'm going to do is get them wet. Just makes them so much easier to work with. They stay in the little molds. These are cloths that I have used over and over for years. They may look a little stained to you, but I'll tell you, they are definitely clean. Just to give you some idea what a new cloth looks like. See how white they are and see how yellow they get over the years? But they're just fine. So now I'm going to take this cheese and I'm going to put it into these molds. And hopefully I have judged this just right so that I get 3 full molds. Okay, it's all in there. Now the cool thing about these molds, I was given these molds and I just love them. I will leave a link for them in the description. You just take this one and you push it into that one and it presses it, and repeat for the next one. Push, so they make their own little presses here. And then the top one needs to press. So you put it on the bottom and press. You can see a little liquids coming out. So here's what I do is I set them on a plate just like this, and they go in the refrigerator, and every once in a while I just swap the order and push on them a little bit, and they'll be ready, I don't know, in an hour or less. This is some cheese that has been in the refrigerator overnight, and you can tell that it's the rosemary cheese by the flour on there. This is a no-knead recipe, a bread recipe. It's fabulous. We'll have another video on that. So what I want to do is cut some bread so you can see me taste this. This bread is fabulous. So rosemary, raw goat milk, cheese on wonderful no-knead bread. Oh my gosh. The rosemary explodes in your mouth. One of my favorites. Give me a thumbs up.